who's going to do the screen share this time? Is it
Oh, I will screen share. Hello, everybody.
awesome?
Welcome. Welcome to the end of month PmP Spectacular. I am here with the wonderful and talented Alicia Merritt, the Dame of the Brush.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, I like owner of Randy the Goblin. I just noticed that. I'm sorry. That's fantastic. Yes, Randy, Herald of the End Times and of Ninth Edition.
It was a really fun video to make. But so I hope everybody's ready for us to tear apart what you've done for the month.
Destroy it. Just absolutely critique it into the ground. No, we'll only be doing that with anything I submitted because it's all trash. All right. So, yeah, let's jump right into it. All right, everybody. So, let me preface this. Actually, I'll take back what I just said. Let me preface this by saying we're going to review the end of month for the Painters Motivating Painters, the PmP. And I'm going to put a link down below that you can click on to request to join. It's a private community, and Alicia and I and Whoopi and Kieran and a couple other people moderate it. And basically, what it is it's just a very friendly community of people who love hobbying, painting, converting, hobbying. It's a wonderful, positive community that has a lot of sharing and information. You want to know how to do something, you can post it up in there, and you're going to have people offering you tutorials and links to other videos of their own experiences with it. You post a pledge at the beginning of the month, you track your progress throughout, and then you post your finished at the end of the month. And that's basically the idea of the thing. And it's just it's sort of a spotter for your painting. And anything that keeps you hobbying and painting is a good thing, because really, that's a huge percentage and great part of this game. Converting, hobbying, modeling, painting these figs is what makes them our own and what gives us such a sense of joy when you put them on the table. So, and frankly, even if you never get them on the table, that doesn't matter, because you can still see them on the shelf and know they are yours, and you did that. And no change in edition or anything can ever take that away from you. Hobbying is forever. All right.
Unless you set fire to the mini.
Yeah, that's right. Unless you Lord Tremendous and Death Holy Death it and literally burn the mini to the ground, then that can take it away. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and screen share here. One of these buttons is that thing. Hey, it's that one.
It's that green one. Oh. There it goes.
Ooh, fun times. All right, can you see the PmP league there?
Yep.
All righty. So what we're going to do, I've already sectioned this out to be end of the month submit. This is the PmP, and you'll notice over here on the side, just a quick tip on navigation, you'll notice we have all these different categories. You can do that if you're looking through there. And when you post up a picture, just make sure you submit it under the right category. That way we can see what it is and easily do stuff like this. And you'll notice there's just a whole lot of fun stuff here. It's not just Warhammer figs, even though that's the majority of what's shared. That's okay. There's Warmachine and 40K and alternate models and all that stuff. If it's hobbying and painting, it's welcome here. All right. Let's start with a little. Let's start with Tuna Sandwichify here, and he finished out his Undead army. I believe this is Undead Legion, so we got a combined Tomb Kings and Vampire Count situation here. Alicia, what do you think about this?
I was actually starting from the beginning of the month, so give me a second.
Oh, sorry, I went from the front of the month backwards. I apologize.
It looks like he's gotten his demon dogs are actually conversions of the undead direwolves. They're in the
I think that's right. Yeah.
I think that's a neat idea. I don't particularly care for the actual demon dog models themselves. Let me see.
I like a lot of what he's got going on here. I like his werewolves, I think, back here. I think those are supposed to be his Vargeists, if I remember correctly. I love his Hierotitan conversion, which is this guy over here with the flames. It's a very bright army, which is unusual. A lot of times, you know, with vampire counts, it looks very like sort of grimy and dirty and brown, and this is not that at all. There's a lot of purple and bright colors here. I mean, this is really, really a bright army for vampire counts.
Um, Actually, I think he's darkened up that back character, the big conversion that he did
Uh-huh.
from the last critique that we did because we were concerned that it was a little bright in places and it wasn't really cohesive.
Right.
But from now, I don't have a very good angle on this because of the way the picture's taken, but it looks like he's darkened it up in areas and actually took our advice, and I think it looks a lot more complete. I think it looks totally cohesive now. I agree with you on the dogs. The dogs are very bright, but that could have just be the flash.
Sure.
I like the gore effect that he's got going on them.
They definitely got into some juicy meat there, yeah, for sure. I really like the ghouls with the fallen statue and stuff. He's got some really nice unit filling sort of going on here and there. The crypt ghoul in the middle of the ghouls, the fallen statue. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I think you just got sucked into the Matrix.
Did I? I'm sorry. What happened?
Yeah, your mic's going weird.
Still doing it?
Maybe it's my headphone. I don't know.
Okay. I hear you normally.
You hear me normally? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're starting to clear up now.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
hopefully
you're clear again.
Okay, quick. The Matrix has me. So yeah, and then the only other thing I would say is I love his werewolf here in the middle. This guy, which I think is one of his bosses. It's either I think that's one of his bosses, like his vampire lord. Yeah. Great stuff overall. Well done. I mean, finishing an army is always an amazing accomplishment. I think there is little to rival it. All right.
Definitely.
Let's jump up to somebody I think you know. I think you might be familiar with this person. You might have seen them around.
Who is that?
Nothing comes to mind, right? No one of consequence.
No, not at all.
So yes, Materum did these flamers, and you know, if you would have told me this beforehand, like I want to do them as black ash, I would have said I don't think that's going to look good. Like really, I that would have been my initial feedback. But honestly, seeing it, I really like it. I will allow you to critique your husband more harshly, of course. But I think it turned out really well. I love the really hard contrast between the fire and the dark bodies.
I think they ended up working well. He came up with the idea for the grayskin all on his own. I only helped out with the flames a little bit. And by a little bit, I just mean I mixed the orange color for him. As far as like the one note that I have is the teeth on these things are like incredibly just bright, and I can't really make out the facial details. So I mean, if he wants to go back in and kind of funk up the teeth or put a little bit more highlights on the face, that would be my couple of notes for him, really, because he is getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a real journey, and I think the improvement is definitely showing. And I think you could, if you wanted to darken up the teeth, you could just hit them with a little sepia right there at the base of the tooth, so you get the light dark effect, and good to go.
Mm-hmm. But then again, the teeth are kind of like his signature thing. Everything he's got has amazing dental work done on it because nobody's got cavities, nobody's got plaque anywhere.
Well, let me just say, as somebody who constantly paints bright teeth on Skaven, as has been previously pointed out, I do support this. I like a demon army with a good dental plan. I've got no issue with that. All right. Very good. Let's see. Who's next? So we have some more from Tuna Sandwich Pie here. Those are just the individuals. Let's skip over here. Again, somebody we might recognize. Alicia, this was your fantastic zombie unit, and this was done for um, Skaven and AZ. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Tell us a little bit about that one.
Um,
Like, what did you do to build these? Where did you start from, etc.
each of these are a kit bash of a zombie box and some Empire Freemen, actually. And a lot of it is just because, luckily enough, the torsos and the legs fit together perfectly. The one gripe is getting the zombie head on the Freeman body because the necks are different. So I actually had to use some green stuff to make necks for the zombie heads. The Freemen, they were cake to put on the zombie bodies. All you do is just snip and paste. One of my actual favorite couplings is the picture at the picture next to the end. Keep going.
I love this guy, by the way.
Yeah, right there. Those two guys. The guy holding the pistol going out, and the other guy going like, "Whoa, hang on." I kind of posed them in one of the pictures, like how I built them, and it was a complete accident. I built them like this, and they were just on my desk, and I was looking at them like, this guy's gonna shoot this other zombie in the face. It's hilarious.
Absolutely. You can't trust those zombies. They will just randomly shoot people in the face. It happens. No, that's great. Yeah, I love the little scene there. These are just so fantastically done, and yeah, I do love the way that they made these sort of human kits fit together. I think I've done the same thing before and stolen these, like zombie legs or empire legs to mash together. So I think this is just fantastic work. Each of them is a little individual. They all feel like they're their own guy. You have different amounts of like blood and death and rot and gore on all of them. It's really great.
Yeah, the one thing that I would have loved to actually have done is to have used like some of the technical paints on them, but given the samples that I was provided with, I couldn't really do that. So that was like the one thing that I kind of feel like I missed out on. Is I could have made him a lot more bloody or pussy or whatever. But I think, given the sheer amount of them, I think I probably would have driven myself insane.
There you go. There they are. There's our zombie holdup.
Yeah, he's like, whoa, don't shoot me in the face. Okay, I'm putting the knife down.
Great work. All right.
Yeah.
Next up here, we've got Nick Fensky, and he finished his January pledge was to finish his High Elf army, or I guess it's actually an Elven host army to be more accurate, I believe, because we clearly have some representation here from all around the elf world. And yeah,
because we got some wood elves in here.
Yeah, little wood elves. We got the dark elf. We got some brolocks, shirtless up front, ready to ride out.
Yeah, they kind of look like they're freezing to death here. I mean, their skin's blue, their hair's blue. Just some hypothermia going on.
Absolutely. This is a super unique color scheme. I also love that. I don't know if like this is part of his display board or if he has just literally set these guys up near Christmas decorations, but it certainly fits. I think his Phoenix is clearly crashing though. That thing, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be face down into the ground.
Oh yeah, it is totally in a nosedive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's going down hard. But yes, this is we saw this kind of evolve on the PmP over a month or two, and I think I had a lot of trepidation in the beginning about the combination of red and blue.
Yeah, I did too.
And when he started on that Phoenix, and that's like a really unusual color scheme for the Phoenix, to have that reddish, ruddy color back there.
Yeah, he definitely worked in some weird brown in that.
Yeah. There's our Brolocks, our hypothermic Brolocks. Very solid basing work here. They look like they're covered in margarita salt or something, like there's rock salt.
It could very well be rock salt.
Yeah.
I do like his movers. I think they're dynamic.
Yeah, it looks very icy. All very appropriate. Oh, nice little workbench area there. There we go. There's the Frost Phoenix from the side.
Mm-hmm.
Not face down into the ground. There we go. Yeah, really good work. Very unique color scheme. I mean, you know, I've got to imagine that's just a joy to play against in a tournament or something. You know, you set up across from that, you see that army wonderfully themed, colored very uniquely. Yeah, that's just great. Again, like another finished army in the books, and that's just wonderful. What we don't want is the Shadow Warrior contingents on the battlefield. Nobody likes playing all gray or primed models. The PmP helps end priming, helps end Shadow Warrior syndrome. There we go. All right, great work, Nick.
All right.
All right. This was I'll just show it real quick, but yes, this was. I had 3 Phoenixes this month as part of a commission job. This was my second Frost Phoenix. Since we were on the Phoenixes, and it connects. I wanted to try to do it in a very simple color palette, like really focus on not a lot of contrast and see if I could make that work. And then also I wanted to try water effects on a base. So it was a fun experiment.
I think both turned out rather well, because I love your base. The snowflakes look kind of pink though, but I think that works for the model.
Yeah, it's actually like, it's funny because that is purple. The snowflakes were all just like touched with some purple shade and then whited back over, right? And I like a little bit of the purple shows through, so it does give it like a pinkish hue. But I wanted some contrast because when I first, like, the snowflakes didn't stand out on their own against the hyper light blue there. So, yeah. There we go. We won't waste a lot of time on my stuff. Yeah. Nobody came to see that. All right. Lord Stanis. Some Warmachine. I don't know anything about Warmachine, so I have no idea who these guys are. I think these are called Jacks. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. I watched some of Malorian talking about this, so hopefully I'm right.
Yeah, they're blue mechs. That's
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much what I can see.
They look cool. I mean, definitely very cool photos. Let's see if we can zoom in here a little bit on these guys. Very clean work. There we go. They look very much like armor plates. Nice consistency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. I don't know what this guy is over here. He's just a little short robot. He looks like a little walking Baam out of like Mario Brothers with his little face here. Very nice. Yeah, and like we said, even if I don't know what the models are, I can still respect the paint job, and this is very well done. And so very good, Lord Stanis. Great work. All right, back to Matum again. This was his Capticus. That is not an easy word to say. Conversion. I think is. Do you know the story behind this one?
Dude on a Pegasus? What?
I was thinking more what components he used for it. I think it's a Matonian Pegasus, right? But I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's the straight Pegasus model. The body and possibly the arm are from Karl Franz. And like the head and like the sword arm, I think, are from Wolf Knights from Empire. I think.
It sounds right. It does look like one of those knights' arms, the non-lance arms, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, because he got the Karl Franz's Griffin and decided not to build Karl Franz himself, which I don't know why, because he could play Shazam whenever he frickin' felt like it, but nope. He decided to build this dude.
He's anti-Shazam.
I don't know why. I thought Shazam was one of his more favorite characters. But Again, I think he did a fairly decent job with the Pegasus. My one big complaint is it's kind of difficult to tell rider from horse at a distance because of all the metal and the gray.
Right.
Yeah, I think if he had actually gone through on the armor and brightened it up with some of the brighter metal colors, it'd be a little bit easier to tell. Um, Horse is still suffering from that. Oh my God, your teeth are white. If he had just hit it with a little nun oil, it'd be better. And he forgot to do the eye. The horse has
Oh
no
yeah.
eye.
There you go, Pegasus Eye.
And I'm just not gonna even comment about like the wild eyes that this dude has going on,
The
and the
shocked
fact that
eyes.
he
Well,
has no eyebrows.
yeah, I was gonna I have a little I use this as a little moment to talk about some technique. So this is not an uncommon thing I see on a lot of models, the shocked eye syndrome. Okay, the we are very surprised look on models' faces. I see this a lot. And so there is actually a pretty simple trick. The thing is, when most people paint eyes, what they do, we're going to zoom way in here. What they do is they start by painting some white across the eye area, and then, or something off-white. I would generally say don't use white, but anyways, but start by some kind of white color, and then they go with another color here, like as the pupil, which is fine. The trick is, what you get then when you do that is you get this very surprised look. And to stop that, it's actually rather simple. All you do is, instead of starting with white, you start with black. And you black the area of the eye first with just like a solid jet black. Now you need to let that dry completely. Once that dries out completely, then you go in and then very carefully you go over the black with the white, but you leave just the slightest edge of that black around the white. And what that will do is it'll give the illusion of, like, that's what's around your eye when you're sitting there in reality. There's a little line of black around it from your eyelid. And that will give that illusion of that eyelid and stop that surprised look. Even if the eyes are wide, they will still look like they've got eyelids, and they won't look like their eyelids have disappeared, sort of completely. Just one extra little step, and you can end that surprise eye thing. So there you go. Little simple tricks. Yeah, great job. I like him. I can't wait to see him flying behind lines and killing war machines and other soft targets, as Capticuses are so wont to do. All right. Let's jump over here to a Dice Miniature Paint guy who did this vampire model. This is from Reaper, I know that, because I have this same model.
I like the Reaper models. I think they're great.
I love their, like, I'm so torn on Reaper because their metal models have the right amount of detail, but in general, I hate metal models. Their Bones models have a great price point, but like Bones 1 lost. It's just like there was so much detail lost in the transition on these man-sized figs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, agreed. If you get Bones line, you go for the big models because it's worth it because you can actually see the detail on the big models. Do not get character models in Bones line. Do not do it.
Yep.
It's
Unless you're just
terrible.
grabbing a fig for like D&D, but I completely agree. Yeah, you're totally right. So many times I've been disappointed because I got a little man-sized fig and tried to paint, and it's just the detail is just not there. Now
Well, I got in on the Kickstarter when they first came out with the Bones line, so I have 400 little bitty guys.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah. So, and they're just sitting here unpainted because unless I need something that I really don't care about, I'm not painting them.
I have heard tell that Bones 2, which should be shipping here, I think, on like the 9th, is they fixed part of that problem, but time will tell.
So I love the cape on this,
Yep.
but it looks like he's lost some detail on the chest. I don't know what how he managed to do it, but it's just a little bit lost, and I don't know if that's just the model losing it or paint got a little thick.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
and I think what like my feeling on this is he was going for a very blood spattered effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which like at least I think that's what it feels like this is. It's on the sword and sort of down from his mouth. So which makes sense for a vampire, of course, to be all blood spattered.
Yeah.
Um, I think that one of the things with blood spatter is it is honestly a really tricky effect to pull off because it's hard not to look like it's just red paint scattered around. And I think that one of the things you can do with blood, besides use blood for the blood god, which as a technical pain I do, you had mentioned it earlier, and I do truly love blood for the blood god. But I think one of the keys to doing sort of blood spatter is you need about 3 shades of red to really do blood spatter. You want like a a dark color of like very dried blood in some places, and then you want to sort of spread out from there and have lighter around that. So you have a sort of center point of very dark dried blood. You think about kind of how blood would spread or sit on a in a pool, and that gives you a more rich series of tones on it. But it's definitely a great model, and he definitely did it justice. Um,
I love how his cape turned out. I think he spent some time on that and got the shadows working just good on that.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like and I love this blue he chose, and it was funny because I think one of the comments on this was what blues did you use for this, and he set it up, and I mean yeah, it was like 5 different blue paints and 3 different washes, and Lamia medium and everything. So, and it was clearly a lot of work, and it really shows. Great transitions here. Yeah, great work. Great work, Dice. All right. Kai, of course, he mentioned that he took some time off from painting just to show we'll absolutely anything is good for end of month submit. I know you had an opinion about this, right? You may be a small Zelda fan.
Yes, totally am. I'm actually replaying Phantom Hourglass right this second, and I've been working through the newest Hyrule Warriors game. Totally
Very
love it.
nice.
Yeah.
I think the last Zelda game I played was probably the second one for the Nintendo. Is that Adventures of Link?
I
Maybe.
never bought. I don't think I ever. I have never played that one. I had the old original one where you
Sure.
needed the map, or else you could not beat that game. And I've gotten almost every one of them since then, but uh, not that one.
It is definitely one of a kind. It is a like side-scrolling sort of fighter game. I think it is the only Zelda game like it that was ever made. It is a weird game given the rest of these. But yeah, really cool stuff there. Very fun. I only want to focus. This is something I did, and I only want to focus on this for a moment, just to say thank you to the Gonk very much. He provided me with these miniatures, and they are just fantastic. These are for those of you who don't know, there have been sort of 3 different sculpts of Daemonettes over time. The old big claw, crab claw Daemonettes, as they're often called, which were bald and hideous. And then these, which were the Juan Diaz sculpts, and they are a little, perhaps, not safe for work, as they were some beautiful ladies who are in varying states of deciding whether or not they need clothes. And these still had the mix of, like, you can see they have a mix of, like, daggers and claws. And then the newest models, the new Daemonettes, which were clearly inspired by these, but are more of the hermaphroditic ones where they're only half female and they're not actually nude at all and are always double clawed. But these Juan Diaz sculpts are generally regarded to be sort of the best overall sculpt. And I agree. The only problem with them is they are so small. I mean, you can't tell from this picture, but if I had one set next to a normal Daemonette, it looks like the difference between me and Shaq.
Wow.
It's
They
a
are.
big difference.
They're gorgeous. I love these. I love these sculpts. I'm actually working on some demonettes for somebody else right now, and dude, I would die to actually be able to paint these instead.
Yeah, they're They are pretty great. It was honestly a pleasure to paint, and thank you so much to the Gonk for working with me to provide me with these models. I was greatly thrilled to be able to have some of them. I had always wanted some and never been able to find any, so it truly made my month. So thank you very much, sir. It is much appreciated. A little piece of advice for other people looking to collect Daemonettes: if you can't find the Juan Diaz sculpts, and you're willing to spend a little more change, I would recommend just getting Witch Elves and putting some claws on them. The arms are actually cut in the same place, so you don't even really need to mod them very much. And the Witch Elf sculpts are much more evocative of these Juan Diaz things. Like, I'm pretty sure the new Witch Elves were inspired by these. So that's what I would say. All right. Here we have some stuff from Ken Baldock that he did for the month. I like a lot of this. These are his big dragon ogres. I mean, just look at those. How imposing are those, right?
Those things are wicked looking.
Yeah, that's great.
I hadn't actually seen the sculpts like this before. Because Josh has some dragon ogres right now, and they are actually modded from ogres and cold ones, which is weird. I actually think I like these better.
These are just so big, right? I mean, like, my goodness. They are meaty. Yeah, like, those are just imposing. Yeah, great work on that, Ken. Here we have perhaps one of my favorite models in all of Warhammer, the War Sphinx. And, you know, I've mentioned this before, but the beautiful thing about the War Sphinx is that there is no right color scheme for the body. I've seen these things in white, black, blue, red, green, you know, just because it's a big statue. It's whatever.
I like the jade look of it. I really do. He's got some really nice shading on it to make it dynamic. It's not just a flat green.
He really does. Like, you can see around these hip sort of quote-unquote bones and this stuff. Yeah, they're nice touches, just little things. But yeah, it looks great. Very, very bright gold, too. That is really catching the light. That is a super bright gold.
And
very
I like
nice
the fact
detail
that
work on these guys, yeah.
Yeah, he took the time to actually go in and do individual highlights on each one of the gems on this thing, too.
Yep.
Excellent.
And then here we have the old Chaos War Shrine with your big mutant underneath and such. Again, just such an insane model. Like, this is so much detail and work, and it's just he really clearly lavished a lot of care onto it, and it shows. Just like the little bits over here in like the blue fire, and up here with this little purple guy. Yeah, great stuff.
I love his. I like how he does his muscles on all these guys and the mutants and all that stuff, because he really makes them pop with the way that he gets the underlight on them. Wonderful.
Yeah, definitely a very clear muscle definition, and I would guess he's achieving that through like a wash and highlight back up is what it looks like to me, but it's hard to say for sure. Could be just a lot of layering too, but it's great work. However, whatever technique you're using, and I think that's you're exactly right, and you can pull off that contrast with these sorts of fantasy figs, especially these big mutants. I mean, it's okay. These chaos dudes are hitting the gym. You know, if you ask, bro, do you even lift? They clearly respond yes. All right. Wait, we are not. There is so much this month. Wow, this is a busy month. We need to move.
Oh yeah.
Further.
Yeah,
we're back to like the
we're only 7 days in.
All right.
Oh God. Okay.
All right. Let's. This was my Fire Phoenix. Just quickly here. Here we go. I was very happy with this and how it came out. I just wanted to say the fun part about this was just taking out all the way to like the carbon on the fire, like having it carbonize. So I thought that was the fun part here.
Oh yeah, it shows. It's really good. It's like this thing just came out of a volcano.
I also like his sassy red nails. There we go. All right. Dice miniature paint guy with some more Warmachine. Again, don't know the faction, but
In Soviet Russia, model paints you.
exactly. Exactly. These guys are really good, are really well done too. I'm sorry, guys and gals are really well done.
Oh yeah, there's one chick in there, isn't there?
Yes. Just great detail work, like all the little jangles and such on his coat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice highlighting down to the edge on the cuff. Little things like that just really shows you that he took a lot of time and care with these models.
Well, he took the time to put stripes on the pants, which is a pain.
Not an easy thing, and not easy to make it actually look right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, great stuff. All right. That's Tuna, some more of his army that he had submitted. So we already looked at that army. We'll jump past that. William Page with his Screamers. Very unusual paint scheme. You know, this is really just like with Materum. I think this is the beauty of demons. There is no right color scheme for demons. They are weird monstrosities from the warp. Go with it. Green and orange. But what's your feelings on these guys?
Didn't he come up with this color scheme from a room in his house?
I think that's right, yes. I think he mentioned he had a room painted this color and wanted to go with it.
I like them. I really do. I think they work well. It's a nice contrast. I wouldn't have thought orange would have gone with green so well, but it works.
Yeah, I agree. I even love the little blue eyes. Like, they stand out so well. It's just, it really does work. These are three colors that if you asked me again, I would have said no, that's going to look terrible. But it in fact looks the opposite of that. It is great. Yeah, I like his basing too. Very simple, but just like again, like the basing color just very nicely fits with the whole scheme. This sort of mixed burnt grass.
Maybe his shag carpeting in that room.
Yeah, there it could be. Yes, exactly. The demons carry shag carpeting with them at all times. Just lay it down.
They just exude it. All right.
Here we have some rat swarms from All Elves Are Dark. Very nice.
I like these little guys.
Yeah, one of the great things about almost every big Skaven kit when you buy Doom Wheels and Hell Pits and everything else, and even this is true for like Thanquil and the new models, Vermin Lords, they just come with rats. They just like, when you buy a Skaven big kit, you just get rats for free. So it becomes very easy to make your rat bases, your rat swarms. And they really do have nice variants, like the one with his little wraps. I think it's a... Let's see if we can see him.
Mummy rat.
Yeah, there we go.
And then they got rat with a whole bunch of like nails and... I guess maybe that's supposed to be warpstone, but it's not painted warpstone, so it's alright.
Yeah.
Sticking out of them. Poor little mutant rats.
As is true for the life of all small rats in the Skaven world. Alright. Let's jump into Materum here again. With his, this is actually a Hell Cannon for the Warriors of Chaos. Super conversion. Yeah. Clearly we've got the Bloodletter, and then I guess that's a Tyrannid model. I do not know that.
Yeah.
I don't know 40k models.
Yeah, it is some kind of Tyrannid model. We were actually really disappointed because there was no scale on the GW website. We thought this thing was bigger. Because when we originally saw it, we thought it was so much bigger. We were going to put a throne on the back of that thing and have that dude with a sword sitting on him. But that did not work, so Josh cobbled this together.
Well, I think that's really turning lemons into lemonade, because it came out very well. It works for me. I like it. And as far as I know, the Hell Cannon in the game, admittedly I don't know the rules for the Hell Cannon off the top of my head, but I think it can actually charge around and hit people. So, works for me. It looks like
Yeah.
something that would do that. Great stuff. Sneaky Skink with, we saw the War Sphinx, now we see his compatriot, the Necro Sphinx. Simple, very, very even colors, but looks good. I think my only point would be I'd like to see a little more of like we saw on the other one with some of the brushed, like maybe these hip bones and stuff brought out a little bit. But I've got to respect
Yeah.
the gold lining here. Like this is really like getting at these little ribs is not an easy thing to do, and they're very clean lines.
Yeah, the whole model looks very clean. There's, and even though like everything's gold, I can tell where all the details are. It's not just glopped gold here. I can't tell what's what.
Yep,
I can tell where there's skulls, where there's leafing, and little details like that. They're still readable, which is really good. Glad to see it.
absolutely. Yeah, it looks like he went and highlighted some of this gold on the upper on the raised edges back up, like on these skulls, these little pieces on the leg here. It looks like he re-highlighted over those. That's really good stuff. You know, you could stop with just making it gold, but it looks like he took that extra step, and that makes it really pop there, even though you got color on color. All right. Good stuff there, Sneaky. We'll go to my favorite model I've ever done here quickly. My evil demon princess, a recent conversion from the land of Disney, and this is a Snow White model from Kabuki Miniatures, I believe, and then with some wings from the Bones Griffin. She actually came with a rabbit. I don't know why Snow White has a rabbit. I don't remember that in the story, but she's got a rabbit.
Well, if you look at the Disney classic Snow White, she pretty much had all those little bunnies and deer and everything enslaved to her will. So her coming with some kind of creature does not surprise me.
Yes, and clearly Murder Rabbit is ready to add some blood for the Blood God here. So there we
Yeah, with
go.
his pin-up gal, Snow White.
Yes,
Mm.
lots of fun. All right. Paul Cunert and his skink. You know, I mentioned this before, but this may be one of my favorite models anybody's ever submitted. The color on this is so good. Like, this model blows me away.
I can't believe just how smooth all of his transitions are. They're just wonderful.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just brilliant. I mean, such good blending. The color transitions look seamless and smooth. If you would have told me, again, white and black for a skink, I would have been like, okay, I guess that's going to look flat. Not at all. With the purple and pink feathers and the highlights, and the fact that he used non-metallic golds for all this. Like, none of this is actually gold paint. This is all non-metallic metals. And
The the turquoise in the staff is amazing.
yeah,
There's another shot of it
yeah.
from the back or in the front. Oh my god. Just the multi layers of depth and highlight and shadow in this. And that is just such a small area to work into it, and it's not overworked.
No, it isn't. It looks so natural, right? Like, that looks like that naturally occurring stone. Like, I mean, really, Paul, I cannot compliment this fig enough. Just beautiful, sir. Amazing work. I hope this skink punches that stupid frog Slan in the face and takes over the army because he deserves control. He is fantastic. Who knows? Maybe he did the frog just as beautifully, but I love that skink.
Oh yeah, that skink is just wonderful. And the basing,
Yeah.
I don't know where he got that slab or whatever he's standing on, but that is awesome. And the leaves, I don't even know where you can get leaves like that. Cause because Josh is wanting to do a Lizardman army next, and he's wanting to do like this whole jungle thing. I would love to know where he got those leaves.
All right, Paul, if you watch this, tell us below, where did you get the leaves? We want to, inquiring minds want to know. I wonder if this is a micro art base or something like that. I know they do some bases like this, but yeah, just great work. Give us some deets. We want to know, Paul. Inquiring minds want to know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we've gushed over Paul enough there. All right, very quickly, the third Phoenix, since I showed the other two, this was the first one, so here we have the third of the 3 Phoenixes for the full Air Force Armada. This one you can see much darker, going for the full contrast. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. And then our old buddy, Thanquil, and Bone
Thankful
Ripper.
Joker.
Yes, with his purple and green.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to go full purple and green on this because he's the villain, and I had to go for the super pink. Like, there's just so many jokes that I thought to myself as I was painting this. First, Bone Ripper had to be pink, so they could be Pinky in the brain.
Yes.
And if you notice the way he's busting through the wall, like you can see that there's sort of wall underneath him there that he's coming through. There we go. That's a good shot of it. He's just cool. I can just see him Kool-Aid Manning in the wall. Just, oh yeah! Spraying people down with some fire. Quick note on conversions is just to say that this isn't Bone Ripper's actual head. That is actually the head of the Skaven Vermin Lord Warbringer, which actually fit on here pretty well, I thought. And that is also the arm of the same Warbringer. That Vermin Lord kit, you do have a lot of extra good pieces that are great for conversions on bigger models like this big punch dagger arm I really like. I thought it fit well. Yeah, so there we go. I was happy with that.
Amazing. All right.
All right, let's see. Will Page with some of the flamers for his army here. So we saw the black flamer earlier from Matum, and now we've got a much more color-intensive one. He's got some nice transitions here with the green to the purple and blue and such. Very, very chaotic.
I actually like this kind of idea for all the chaos critters, of them like having like is that okay? My brain's left me. You go ahead. I'm gonna try and figure out what I was gonna say.
No problem. Yeah, I think this is nice. I do like the reality is I think that this right here. You know, you look at the one we looked at earlier. You look at the screamers he did with the green. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Really, the beautiful part about things like Lizardman and Demons is that it is a completely liberating hobby experience, because you just the training wheels are off, and it's like whatever insane color scheme you can imagine is legitimate if you can make it work on the color triangle, or on the color wheel rather, and make a color triangle work on it. It will work because there's just no colors that are out of bounds. So it lets you work in things like oranges and pinks and yellows that you might not normally get as much access to painting, say, an Empire army or something more common or real.
Okay, so my thought was, I like the different color transitions in Demons because they're from a very chaotic place. So of course they're gonna have parts that's kind of ripped off and glued onto different things. So having the arms being blue and like the torso purple and like the heads are green makes perfect sense to me.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Here we have another one from Matum in his Maneater his Maneater group of one Maneater for every other race. This is the Empire Maneater.
Yeah, he didn't actually convert this one of anything. This one just came as is.
He has a lot of fun. I love that 1970s porn mustache he's rocking. It's pretty exciting.
I know, right? Um, the one weird thing, besides the tongue, is you can't see it from any of the pictures that he's taken, but on the other side of that feather is some kind of little green skin just kind of clinging to his skull.
Oh yes, yes. Like he's right under here, right under the kind of backside. Yeah, he has a tiny little Noblar whispering in his ear. Yes.
And I just kind of love those kind of guys. I just kind of wish that he would have painted the symbol on the shield. That is one of the few complaints that I really have on this, other than the fact that I just hate his color scheme because I just think it looks really fruity.
The purple and yellow.
Well, purple and yellow can work very well, but it's the super, super bright, like, lilac-y purple that just is throwing me.
He is definitely an ostentatious model. Yes. There you go. A lot of fun.
Alright.
Alrighty. Let's see. Victor Case here with his girl from Reaper. And he had a little tutorial on achieving this sort of bright orange hair effect, which I thought was very nice. Very unusual hair color, but it's sort of a Lilu Dallas multi-pass kind of situation.
I love the random Skaven head that he's got on the base.
I chastised him for that appropriately. I told him that undoubtedly that there are Eshin assassins waiting around the corner to murder this foolish human.
There you go. I guess she's supposed to be an Empire, then?
I think actually this is another girl for his Dogs of War force. Because he has one of the units in the Dogs of War is duelists, and they're kind of just this ragtag bunch of swordsmen and fighters that get together, and so it's a very liberating unit because there's absolutely no need for consistency or coherence in the unit. You can have just a bunch of people with swords and blades and stuff. I think he's got some ninjas in there and some, sort of musketeer type people. It's really a great opportunity. I do miss the old Dogs of War. Very nice, Victor. All right. Here we've got Mr. Lee Mechchop, and I believe another, actually, Dogs of War figure, I think, if I remember right. This is, I think, Borgio the Besieger, which was one of the generals from back then of that army.
I love the shield.
Yeah, there's a lot of great highlighting on this. Like, I love the gold effect, right, and just how layered it looks, how smooth in the places it's supposed to look smooth, like, and the transitions are just really good. The shield with the freehand of, like, the bomb. I think that's what that is, right?
Yeah, it looks like a bomb with just like a whole bunch of flames coming out of it.
Yes. I believe you're going robotic on us, by the way.
Oh, right. Oh, no.
I'll let you do what you need to do there. But great blues, great white, great freehand, fantastic bronze. This guy is a very worthy general. Absolutely.
All right.
Oh, there you go. I think you're good.
Okay, good.
Yep, you're good.
Woo.
All right. Matirum has been very busy this month. Your husband has been getting some work done. He had mentioned in his show tonight that he was diving into the hobby, and I think that's great and definitely true. His work shows it.
He got just an insane amount of stuff for Christmas, and he's worked through all of it now. Instead of pacing himself, he's now got nothing left to paint.
Ouch.
Yep.
I'm sure you're playing the world's tiniest violin for him, being that I bet your commission queue is quite lengthy.
Actually, I'm working my way through it. After the current commission that I'm working on, I've only got 3 things left to do.
There you go, folks. You heard it here. Now's the time.
Well,
Send her a
this
note.
one,
Get your army painted.
the one I'm working on now is going to take me a little bit because it's a whole army. So, but I'm working through it.
There you go.
So the one note that I've already explained to him why he should have done something to it, but he decided not to because it's not Carl Franz. Since he's got this dragon and everything up here painted, I wanted him to paint the embellishments on the side, like the sun and all the ribbon work and all that stuff, just to kind of get it completed. And he's like, "No, it's not Carl Franz, so I really don't care about it." I'm like, "Shh, it's not finished." Um, I think he worked really hard on the transitions on the feathers,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it came out. I think it came out well, as far as that part goes.
Yeah, one of the great parts about sort of feathers and that kind of like rough texture is, what dry brushing is going to give you is a rough texture. That's the reality. So if you're trying to do something that's smooth and you use dry brushing, you're not going to get the effect you want. But something like feathers are supposed to look pretty rough. I mean, if they're supposed to be all choppy and have a rough thing, if you look at birds, obviously that's how they look. They're not a uniform smooth color. And so things like big giant birds and stuff really respond well to this technique, and I think it's a good matchup here. He used the right technique on the right thing, and that's one of the reasons I think it looks really great. So this is one more little thing I would say. So if we look here, like this would be my note. You mentioned these embellishments on the side.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that actually jumped out at me is this white thing up here, okay, on the front, which I think is like a little scroll piece or something, right?
Yeah, it is.
And it's just sort of white. And what I would like to see here is I would like to see some writing on this. And for people who are afraid of, like painting words and writing, because it can be very hard, my advice would be go get yourself some micro pens. I know if you dig through Once Bitten's video archive, he has a video all about micro pens where he shows how he uses them. They're very useful in a lot of different ways. But effectively, they're a tiny ink pen with like a hyper-fine tip that can write over acrylic paint. And they're not expensive at all. You can get like a 6-pack from Amazon for I think like $4 or $5, maybe a little more. But they're really not expensive thing, and they'll last you forever. I mean, once you get them, as long as you close the cap, they will not dry out for years. And it becomes super easy to do things like text on banners and scrolls like this. So I really can't recommend them enough. It just takes the model to the next level, and it's so simple and cheap and easy.
Well, the only reason why I wasn't going to bust him on that was because his handwriting is atrocious. And his brushwork leaves something to be desired, so something that kind of fine detailed, he's not quite there yet. And he might have asked me to do something on there, but I don't remember.
Well, that's fair. The nice part about I guess on fantasy miniatures is you don't have to actually write words. You can just make gobbledygook, flourish, and runes and stuff, and yeah, it's fine. It's whatever silly fantasy language they happen to use. That's what I say. So, even if your handwriting's crap, just make squiggles. It'll probably still look good. That's their squiggle language. Very popular in the Empire.
The problem is the side that the side scrolling stuff that he decided not to paint over is in English.
Oh.
You can read it, so he can't even get away. He can't get away with it on that.
Oh well, they use English in most of the Empire, but that's a Tabelheim script, and they use gobbledygook language. You see, that's the difference. Whatever. I don't know. All right. Let's keep going here. So this was. I'll just go to this real quick. Again, I don't want to waste too much time on stuff I did, but this was for Anthony from the Sustainable Center. I just want to go to this because this was the piece that I painted for Anthony's overall win in the Warhammer YouTubers End of Year Award. And no, I did not decide to mature in the base. He had asked me to leave the base blank. So your husband's a fan of the blank base. I am not.
Oh,
But
he loves the blank base, but we're working on him with that.
absolutely, he said he's excited about basing his Lizardman, and I can't wait to see him do it. But Anthony sent me this. I think it's actually a 40K Demon Prince, but I was very happy with how it came out. And the one thing I wanted to go to this for, really, Alicia, was with you, was if you can see up here, he's actually looking in the mirror. Like, that really is a mirror.
Oh, it is.
It
Oh,
really is, yeah. So if we go back to the first picture here, you can see he's actually looking at himself in the mirror, at his
oh,
beautiful half-demon face there. And
oh.
there we go. So for the mirror, I really seriously thought about whether or not I was going to try something like you did on your absolutely stunning mirror on the Bloodrack Shrine, but in the end it was just too goofy of an angle and too small of a space, so I went for the simple sort of color transition there. I wussed out. I wanted to, but it's just impossible to get a brush in there at that size.
Honestly, the only reason why I could do it on mine is because it was so big.
Yeah, I mean and it came out beautifully. That shrine still, I mean, that mirror you did and that shrine as a whole, the Medusa, everything about it. That hoe ride was great. All right, enough
All
about
right.
that stuff. Here's another one from Victor Case with some barbarians. Again, I think this was for his Dogs of War. So what I loved about these, the freehand scroll work here on the cloaks.
Oh, dude, he freehanded that stuff.
I believe so. Yes, I do. I think
Oh,
if either
oh,
like I went back and watched the video, and I'm pretty sure that if I remember right, these are freehand.
dude, Celtic knot designs are pain.
Yeah,
Way to
absolutely.
go. Those are awesome.
They look so good. Yeah, great job, Victor. Like I absolutely agree. Celtic knots not easy or fun to do, but man, do they look stunning when you do them well like this.
Mm.
Good stuff from Victor. That's an eagle I did. He saw the Frost Phoenix. We don't need to go farther. There you go. That's an eagle. All right, we can move on past that. It's a blue eagle. He was actually a sneaky test for that Frost Phoenix, so I had a model beforehand.
There you go.
Here we've got Ross figure painting with his cowboy lizardman, big stegodon here. I think this is supposed to be a covered wagon, right? You can
I
see the
think
actual
so.
like.
Is that fabric?
I think it is. Yeah, I think he legitimately used rolled up fabric for the caravan cover there.
And because of that extra little hoop there, I bet you can unroll that and it becomes a covered wagon. That's awesome.
Yeah, I really hope that's the case. Ross, if you watch this, can you unroll? Can you actually untie these knots and unroll this and make a real covered wagon? If that is the case, then you get the 100% A plus Super Gold Star, as opposed to just the 100% A plus.
Yes.
Because this really is great. Just again, the fine detail work, all little gems, the Lizardman on top, the color scheme. I know this was a commission piece he did, and here's some more of the army. Talk about basing. My guess is this is aquarium terrain.
Yeah, the plants are definitely aquarium.
Yeah. And then down here we probably got, obviously normal flower flock. But again, yeah, boy, I mean, tell you, half the fun of Lizardmen is their bases, right? Because you can just go all out.
Just screwing around with this stuff. Yeah, and like his lone ranger model for this stuff
Uh-huh.
is like the best model ever.
I love the cowboy. Bringing cowboys to life. Yeah, that is so good. You can kind of see his Ripper Dipper Dews or Pterodons, whichever one those are in the background there.
Mm-hmm.
Great army. Well done. And I like his use of just like, as he mentions here, the unit fillers double as some random scenery. Yeah, I mean, that's great. Like, hey, you got some terrain for the board or a unit filler. Why not? The use of the like fish tank terrain, it really is your cheapest terrain dollar. Just go to a pet store. You got castles and flowers and plants and stuff, and it's all yeah, a lot cheaper than anything you're going to find from GW or something.
Too true.
All right. Moving on. Here we go. Some more from Ken. We hadn't seen this one previously. His Bugman here. And he mentioned that he just knocked this out quickly to have it done. This is great work for just knocking it out quick. This is a speed paint job. It's a really great speed paint.
Yeah, for speed painting, this is good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's at least gone through and pulled out some details in the barrels, and he's left some details in the beard as well. Because a lot of times when you get real quick painting, you'll forget those little details. You just splash paint on it and go.
Yep. I think the real difference when you know speed painting is you can tell when paint is thicker, and you get these effects. Like you can see the thicker paint effect as opposed to being thinned out because you had to do the layers. But it still looks good. The reality is we'd have to zoom in pretty close to see that. Skip that. I did some more Skaven. Boy, super shocker there.
Yep.
Here we have some ninjas. Again, I think these are duelists. And Victor did a great video on highlighting black. How he did this. It's a tricky thing to highlight black because if you highlight black, you very quickly make it gray. So highlighting black is usually more a matter of edge highlighting than real highlighting.
Technique that I like to use is actually going using a dark blue and going to a light gray, and then utilizing the nun oil.
Yep.
Is how I get my blacks.
That's a great point. Yeah, absolutely. I've done the same thing with purple, and I agree. It's you can sort of highlight up, and then put then wash it back down at the end with like a nun oil, and you'll cut out those bright edges and sort of bring it back into a black tone. That's great advice. Good work, Victor. All right. Moving through, January 10th. Here we have his, I forget what her name is, but again, she's a Reaper Pig. I think she's another duelist in his Duelist Dogs of War. Little general there. I think Victor, it feels like Victor was just moving through sort of random figs because of what his Dogs of War were letting him do this month.
I'm actually a real big fan of this model. I own this model myself, and his looks vastly different from my own, which is great because when I painted mine, it was not very good.
Now, did you have the metal or did you have the bones? Because I know they remade her in bones.
Metal.
Okay.
Yeah, this was like way long time ago, before I was married.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It is a really cool model. And I love the scenery that comes with it, right? Where you got like her on the log and stuff. It's a very dynamic model.
Very much so. All right.
Let's jump over to Kai here. Some Skaven slaves. I think he made a point in the European PmP mid-month of talking about just how much time it takes for 2 points a model. Like it's almost psychologically defeating. But really nice slaves. As a fan of Skaven, I'd say good work here. He's clearly a fan of he likes his slaves to be very dirty. I can respect that.
Yep, we like the dirty. Some down and dirty rat people.
Yes, indeed. Very nice work. I wonder how many he's got now. I wonder if he's up to his full 150 at 2 points a model.
Probably
Here was my marathon paint session for this month. So this was the Vermin Lord, which I managed to get this. This was about, I picked it up, whenever, right when it was first available on Friday, and I did about a 20-hour paint session. I think I slept for maybe 3 hours in the middle of it, and then I got this guy done. I was super happy to have him done. Did have to change him slightly as I didn't like the rock he was standing on, so we had to use a random Skaven slave down here for him to stand on.
I was about to ask you about that because that looks awesome.
I thought he had to represent sort of the nature of being a Skaven, that the betters stride to their power over the backs of the lowers, the weaker. And then obviously, yeah, the conversion over here is the sensor from the Plague Furnace, the massive sensor bell thing.
Oh, okay. See, not being familiar with this model, I didn't know exactly how much you modded or not because it looks like your standard fare. So
Sure, well, that's good. Yeah, well, I
yeah,
guess one of the goals of the conversion is to make it look so normal that it's not that you can't tell the difference. Yeah, I combined a couple of the different things. It's not like it's none of the standard pieces, as it were. It's not any of the one particular builds. Like they have a bunch of different names and weapon configs, and I threw all that out the door immediately. But yeah, I had him standing on his little Skaven, different hand, different weapon, and then just combined on everything else.
neat.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Highly recommend this model. One of the smoother models I put together. He's not a tremendous number of pieces, honestly. Like I've got since then I got Thanquol and the Storm Fiends, and Thanquol and Bone Ripper are just a nightmare as far as number of pieces go. This guy was actually relatively simple and quick to put together. I was very impressed. Really solid model, not a lot of cleanup or mold lines or gaps to fill. He was really good. I can't recommend this guy enough, and he's great centerpiece model for your Skaven. All right, we saw the cowboy in the earlier pick there. Now we have the ever popular dwarf samurai from Ross figure painting here. And my only question is, why is this not a thing in Warhammer?
I'm not sure. My only guess is because Michael might like it, so GW said no.
Entirely possible. If it's dwarven and fun, we can't do it. We can't do it. It's gotta be dour.
Yep.
Look at these guys. Oh man, these are fantastic models and so fun and well done. I love these dudes. Yeah, this is just great. Maybe in 9th edition we can get the dwarven samurai. Maybe there'll be a bubble world where dwarves have become have merged with Nippon and Cathay and taken on the way of the samurai. We can only hope. All right. Oh, Whoopi has a lot of stuff because he went and submitted sort of resubmitted all his stuff. So we'll just kind of quickly look here for Whoopi.
Yeah, he just kind of he blew up the PmP with all that stuff.
He did, yes. A lot of great stuff from Whoopi. Ah, yes, the big gross head. I mean, you can just see he's taken so much time with these models. I know he's worked them and reworked them over and over again to get him where he wants. I do love the big giant bear. I have no idea what that's from.
I know Michael would probably be very happy to have that kind of model because he kept saying, "I want bear riders."
Yes.
Before the newer
Yes.
Dwarf book came out. Yeah.
There we go. Big. I do like this guy a lot. I like this model. I think it's really cool. He's kind of like this big, muscular Spartan type of guy here.
But it looks like it might not be him. It might be another one that looks just like it. But the lambda on the shield is upside down. It's a V for some reason. I don't know why.
Huh.
It's lambda on you can look on the
Yeah, here we
leg
go.
pieces
This
and
guy?
the pauldrons. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if Whoopi just glued it on upside down and didn't realize it, or what.
Oh, Whoopi, are you not properly checking your Greek letters? Come on, bud. Put in the effort here. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be such a big deal, but it's on the pauldrons and the foot plates too.
Right. Yeah. Over here.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, they are cool models, though. I don't know what range this is from. Whoopi, you're gonna have to share with us next time what range these big Spartan guys are from. Those are pretty cool. I think those are excellent, like Chaos Warrior type replacements. They really are. I mean, those just
Definitely.
big, muscular, imposing. Like, honestly, I'd love to see these guys as the Chaos Warriors. Like, if Chaos Warriors looked like that, we could just can the entire current Chaos Warrior line, which still looks like it's coming out of Hero Quest from 25 years ago, and replace it with these dudes, evil Spartans. Some more stuff. I did Doomflayer and Icket Claw. So there we go. Well, there's them. You can come look. Jedkar did this big tank for 40k, and I think what's interesting here is that this is the same tank, right? It just like, boy, if there's ever an instruction on how much lighting and flash can affect a photo. Very dirty tank, though. That looks great. Definitely been going through some mud. And it's funny, too, because here it just looks like sort of rusty dirt. And here it looks like it was on the dust plains of Mars.
Yeah, all your tanks should be dirty. None of them should look like they just came off an assembly line. Because if you
Yeah,
can't even do dirt or rust, you're just not taking any time with them. And the time is necessary to make them look good.
absolutely. I think this is a nice photo of most of Whoop's sort of undead army. Big, scary Terrorgeist. Very nice, very bloody. Yeah, there you go.
He's worked so much paint color into all of these.
Yeah, that is
Like,
absolutely. Whoopi really is not afraid of like big color transitions and working through a lot of different colors, and it shows. It's good stuff.
they look like a Benetton ad.
They they really do. Vargeists of all races and creeds are welcome here to murder humans. It's fine.
Yeah.
Red, white, purple, blue, you're all welcome as long as you like murder. Here's your the Direwolves you did. I watched this tutorial. I thought
What did
that
you
was a
think?
great tutorial you did there. Really nice. We want to see more of that, Alicia. Keep it coming.
I'm gonna give it a shot. I couldn't do a tutorial with the zombies because I was getting kind of behind on my deadline, so I had to just knuckle down and get those 60 guys done. But these direwolves I really like doing, and they didn't take very long at all to do. So I figured, what the heck, I'll do it. I'll try it to tutorial. The funny part is I didn't even realize that the paint scheme that he sent me was actually in the book. Like, I looked in the
Oh,
book
okay.
after I made the tutorial. I made an ass of myself, saying that I didn't know what the heck what the paint scheme was thinking, but yeah, it's actually in the book.
Well, hey, whatever. You certainly nailed it then. Even from having to reverse engineer it, you certainly got it down. These guys look great.
Thank you.
Very good. I hope to see more videos and more things in the future. Here we
Yeah.
go. Another one from Whoopi here with the mighty Thor on his Chaos War chariot. Oh, Thor, how you've fallen from grace.
I know, right? Why is Thor working with the bad guys?
Clearly, he was won over by Khorne and his lust for battle.
Isn't Magneto supposed to be in this same army?
I believe so, yeah. I think Magneto's floating around here somewhere as well, yes.
Uh,
Here we've got Ken and his Archon the Black, one of the Mortarks. Very interesting use of a big column to make this thing stand up. I think he was maybe afraid, because this thing is extremely tenuous on his base. He is bouncy. I will say that. Like, if you don't put him on something, you got to pin the living bejesus out of him.
Well, they when they made that, they were not thinking about how he was going to stand up. Is all I'm going to say. But nice paintwork on it overall. The bones on it. It might just be the lighting effect, but I'm losing some detail. Like they
Yeah,
look
I
like
wonder if maybe the lighting is washing out some of the detail there. But yeah, it does feel like it's really sort of monocolored. But again, I know photos often destroy white sort of gradients.
Oh yeah, that was my problem with the Direwolves.
Yeah.
The ghosts look good. My one note is the blue in the energy coming off the staff and the stuff coming off of like the color of his cloak. They're exactly the same, so it doesn't read as magic.
Yep. Yeah, I think my only note as far as feedback goes would be I really, really dislike this red. Because it's out of, like, there is nothing else on this model in that warm tone. Everything else in here, I mean, this is a warm white, but still it's white, so it's fairly neutral. Everything else is, you know, purple, these greens, all of this, you got a nice color triangle going on here. Even the gray into the purple works because those are sort of, you know, like that matches up. But this red is so warm and bright and out of nowhere. I feel like this should have been either like the same gray as these claws, which would have made a nice color triangle, or the same purple color as Archon's armor. That's my only critique.
Yeah, you got a great point there, because when you first look at the model, your eye goes immediately to that red. It doesn't go to Archon or anywhere else. It goes right there to the armor.
Yep.
On his mount.
Yeah, absolutely. You really got to watch that. When you put like that's a great point. When you put one very bright color in, the problem is that the eye is going to see what it wants to see, and it wants to see bright things. And yeah, you're absolutely right. You look at that and you lose all the beautiful work he did on Archon and everything else. So, but as to the rest of it, I do really like the color choices and stuff like that. It's good. Just that red piece. That's all. Other than that, fantastic work.
Oh yeah.
Here was my, just look at that real quick, and then we can move on to that. This is another Demon Princess, because you can never have too many, of Khorne. And this is Nikima from Malifaux. A little bit of conversion there. And then, of course, good old Death Master Snitch, the Master Assassin of the Skaven army.
I love her wings. His cloak is just so dynamic.
It really is. This is such a fun model. And he really was a pleasure to paint.
Did you add the cloak, or is that just all him?
That's all him. That is legitimately how he comes. Yeah, no conversion on him.
Wow.
There we go. Very good. All right, fun stuff. Let's see. What do we got left? Okay. Here we have Matirum's Undead Maneater. And I believe this is this a Cryptoghoul plus an Ogre? Is that right?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
It's been so long. I think you're right.
I like the arrows in the back very much. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, that was my addition to it. When he was like, I'm going to put an undead head and like an undead arms, and like, how do I make him look dead? I'm like, well, you could stick some stuff in him.
It's great. And do I detect some Nurgle's Rot technical paint in use here?
Yes. You are correct, sir.
Very good. Yeah. It's a great. That's a great example of that Nurgle Rot in action. It's just like I love the shiny, glistening sort of effect. Yeah.
We got it coming out of the arrow wounds as well. Yeah. And I did get him to wash the mouth with some nun oil. It just was after he took the picture.
Oh, okay, got it. So it's not so. This undead he really does have some bright teeth. Those are definitely bright teeth.
Well, that's the thing with Josh's ogre army is all of them have that bright white teeth. They're the White Tooth clan.
Oh, there you go. All right. And then similarly, also for material, we got these Vargas here. And I believe he painted this with Victor Case's gray flesh color transition that Victor made a video about, which I thought was a real good video.
Mm-hmm.
I think these guys look very nice. We've actually got some basing here. Is this some flock on this base? Whoa!
Yeah,
what's going on?
I was like, you're not just painting this base. You went to all this trouble. We're gonna do some kind of basing. He's like, I don't care about basing because the army, blah 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 blah. I'm like, shut up. So I grabbed one of the bases before he attached the mini, and I used some of the Grella Earth technical paint on it.
Uh-huh.
And when you use that technical paint, if you kind of layer it up real good, it cracks when it dries. And it has that nice kind of crackle effect, which is what you're kind of reading from the picture there.
Yep.
Then I used a couple washes on it and slapped some grass in places, and there you go.
And honestly, this is the thing why I really do support this. Just that little touch, it just makes the model pop. Like, that little bitty addition, it looks finished now to me, like to my eye, you know what I mean? And that's not, doesn't need to be guys on, half a building on the base with like trees everywhere and stuff. It can be something that simple, and it just finishes out the model. I love it. So you made the right call. I support you 100% in this.
Yeah, I've been slowly trying to get him to base things.
But great work on those. I like them very much. Let me tell you, I know he was doing the flesh was the thing here, but honestly, I love these wings. I love like the leather color of the wings. I like that these guys are almost completely colorless, quote unquote, right? They're all in these neutral colors, and I think that's awesome. Like, you don't see things like that, just the red eyes. Really, other than that, it's all whites and browns, grays, very neutral tone stuff.
Yeah, I like the wings as well. It's a little hard to read from the picture, but the technique that he was trying to use from Victor, I don't think I like it very well as far as the skin goes, because it's very brushy and very drippy. But I mean, from a distance, they look great.
Right, right. I feel like you could duplicate this with like sort of a hard layering, but it would take a lot more time, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're almost there.
Yay.
For those of you still with us, here's Victor with his big ogre gladiator.
That has no pants.
That has no pants, yes.
He has no pants, which makes me fear that that loincloth.
Yeah, you do not want him to sprint at you and have that loincloth come swinging. No, that's going to be a bad time.
No, and the way that they've sculpted it to look, I'll be honest, I couldn't look at his paint job because I was staring right there, and I was like, oh God, please don't move.
I love these models. I love how he has them ranked up here where you can see like the pikes going at this angle, right? So the unit has sort of a natural where do they belong thing to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
I like the banner.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I believe he did that freehand. See if we got another. Nope. I think that's the best.
It's just that one picture of it.
Yeah. But again, like, I think, it's funny because even, I myself am certainly, I would count myself among this. Freehand is so scary, right? Because it's when you don't have the edges of the model to go by. But I think the only way you can do it is just start doing it. Give it a shot on banners and stuff like this. Pick a simple thing, a rune, some leaves, a tree. and go look on, do a Google image search, find the pieces, and then just give it a shot. Try to replicate it. If it doesn't work, it's a banner. You can just put blank paint over it again and start over. It's okay.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna lose detail by just layering and layering until you get it right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean you're totally free on something like a big flat banner like that. You can just, if it doesn't work, paint over it. It's like a wall. If you happen to not get a piece of paint right, you can just put another layer down.
Hmm.
All right. And I think with that, because I know the bikes got talked about last time, I think with that, we are done. That is all of the January submissions.
Hooray!
Yay!
Yay!
Fantastic work, everybody. My good, look at all that. Look at how much I just scanned through. Woof!